What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, welcome back to the channel. I am very happy to be back in front of you again. I've missed being here, I've missed making videos, and I am actually excited for the next two videos. These are going to be a bit longer than my usual videos because what we're going to do to help me catch up with all this stuff is I am going to be talking about an entire month of the movies that I saw within that month. And then I'm going to give that month a grade. And then at the end of the summer, we're going to do one big wrap up. And I'm going to give the summer its official grade, in my opinion, of how our blockbuster summer was. So, ladies and gentlemen, in this video, part one, we are starting in the month of June. June had a lot of big movies, had a couple of reboots. It had more films coming out than the rest of the months, but just because they came out doesn't mean they were any good. So we're not going to waste any time. Go ahead and get your snacks, your drinks, your blunts, whatever you got to get through this video, and we are going to get started with our first movie. This movie wasn't even on my list. This movie wasn't even on my radar. It is Predator, Killer of Killers, released, I believe, solely on Hulu. This is an animated entry into the Predator franchise, which turned out to be absolutely phenomenal. This movie was so good. It doesn't have a ton of dialogue, which is nice. It stars a World War II pilot and a raider in feudal Japan who run into a predator that is looking to prove himself to everyone else. The animation is phenomenal. If you are in any way into animated action movies, this one was really good. It had a really good story. I don't want to spoil too much of it just in case you haven't seen it, but I highly, highly recommend. This one was just an outlier. I had no idea it was coming out, and I was very pleasantly surprised to see that it did. The next movie that I saw, which was on my list for the summer, is Al Pacino in The Ritual. Now, in my opinion, as much as I love horror, I feel that the exorcism subgenre is cooked. There's not much more that's fresh enough for you to be able to do something great with it. I feel like you can only tell a certain amount of stories, and all of those stories have been told ad nauseum, and they're just not interesting anymore. The reason I wanted to see this one is because I don't believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'll even look after I'm done with the video and make any corrections. I don't know if Al Pacino's ever been in another horror film, at least a supernatural one. I don't know if, certain thrillers count, but as far as like pure horror, I don't think I've ever seen him in one, and I was extremely interested to see how he would handle this kind of role. Plus, not to be morbid or to wish death on anyone or anything like that, but he is very up there in age, so we don't know how many more of these performances we're going to get from him. So I was very, very interested to see what he was going to do with this movie. And as far as the film itself, I mean, it's middle of the road. It's not really good, but it's not The Exorcist, the beginning. It's not that. It's a decent movie. You won't hate the time that you spend watching it. There's just nothing special. There's just nothing new. It's just his performance and the performance of the actors, which the movie's fine. It follows two priests who are on different paths. Al Pacino's character is looking for redemption after a past failure. The younger priest, he is questioning his faith, and they have to somehow come together to save this young woman from a demon inside of her that's threatening to kill her. Al Pacino knows this demon. He fought this one before, and that's where his failure comes from. There's not really much more to say. You won't hate the time you spend watching it, but it is just a regular horror film. The next film I want to talk about is Ballerina. This movie surprised me. I didn't really have a plan on seeing it because I didn't watch all the John Wicks yet, and I know that she makes an appearance in, I believe, the third one. I didn't know if I needed to see that one in order to watch Ballerina, but it was available for me to watch, so I went to see it and I was blown away. This was such a really good action movie with a good storyline. I love the fact that John Wick actually makes an appearance, and a significant one. He didn't just walk through and they show the little intersection that they had and then that was it. No, he's actually a part of the final act of the movie, which I think is really, really fun. Film is about Eve, who as a child watches her father be murdered by a group of men, and then she gets taken in by the same people who train John Wick, also train her. She becomes a great assassin, and then she goes after revenge with a whole bunch of cool storylines mixed in. I really like the action sequences in this one. They did a couple of things that I've never seen before. They also did this one scene that involved a bunch of grenades that I thought was just, it was so much fun to watch. This was a really good film. I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen a good, like, solid action movie with a good storyline in a very long time. So this was a pleasant surprise. If you haven't seen it and you are a fan of John Wick and what he does, I highly encourage you to go see this movie. This is also just a great standalone because, like I said, I didn't go through all the John Wicks to watch them to see if there was any more crossroads. It's just the one interaction, and then she has her own story to tell. Which, I mean, I thought the actress, she did a very good job. Very good, very convincing. You'll have fun. Now, I'm gonna have to bring us down a little bit. I was hoping to not have to watch a bad movie, but it's time to talk about 28 years later. This was one of my more highly anticipated films of the summer. I'm a huge fan of 28 Days Later. I've come to appreciate 28 Weeks Later. So I was hoping 28 years later would start us in a whole nother path. And it did, and it really wasn't a good one. This was not, in my opinion, a good movie. We start off really good. After the events of 28 Weeks Later, when the government had to abandon London, everyone started breaking off into smaller communities. So this small community, they have a pretty good security system set up, and but they still need resources. So you still have to go to the mainland and farm and gather wood and all the stuff that you need to run your town. And a dad is taking his very young son out there to show him how it's done, how to protect himself. They end up getting into a kerfluffle. They end up getting into a whole bunch of mess while on the mainland. Really scary stuff, really suspenseful. Then they go back to the island, and we do this switch from where he's mostly with his dad to now he's on this mission to save his mom because she's sick, and he believes that there's a doctor way out there because he saw some fire and some smoke. And this is where the movie drags. The movie drags once we switch to the mom storyline, and I didn't give a shit. I just couldn't bring myself to really care about what was going on the screen, which is very disappointing because this went on for a while. This is a long movie, and it felt like a long movie. I think they could have done without the mom storyline. I really wish they would have figured out something to do. And then the ending. The ending, if you saw the movie, was fucking frustrating. What was it with this group of guys that show up? This whole movie is just dark and dreary, like The Last of Us. Just devoid of color. Everything is very sad colors. And then you have these jackasses in these bright colored suits doing these flips around. They're doing these flips and these just high acrobatic unnecessary killing moves, which makes me think there's going to be another one because it wouldn't make sense to do this if you're not going to have another one. But this movie sucked. This was just not fun. I didn't enjoy it, and I was severely disappointed. If you want to watch it, wait till it hits a streaming service that you have. I don't even know if it's still in theaters. I think it is. Just hold off. Save your money. And finally, the main event, the movie that this was, I believe, my top three most anticipated is Brad Pitt in F1. Now, this movie is what summer blockbusters were supposed to be. This movie had everything. It had a little bit of comedy, had a lot of drama, had great action, great stunts, good dialogue, a good story. This movie was just phenomenal. It really was. I know nothing about F1 racing. So if this movie just spit in the face of everything that they do, I have no idea. I'm simply just commenting on the movie itself. I thought this movie was phenomenal. I went to see this in IMAX and don't regret it whatsoever. This movie follows Brad Pitt's character as he is kind of toiling and just doing races just for money because it seems like he's searching for something. He has this hole within him where he can't just stay in one place. And he ends up being asked to join an F1 team to help out their rookie because he is struggling. The team is struggling, and his friend who comes to him, who owns the team, is in threat of losing it because it seems like in F1, at least in this story, like I said, I don't know anything about F1. If a team loses too much, then the owner has to sell his part to someone else who can possibly implement something better and do something different. So he's under the gun and he goes to Brad Pitt to try and ask him for his help. Reluctantly, Brad Pitt shows up, meets all sorts of resistance from not just the rookie, but the team, because Brad Pitt is a selfish character. And from there, there's just a lot of high drama. This movie was so good. I don't even want to spoil too much of it in case you haven't seen it. Unfortunately, I think when it comes out on streaming, it may go straight to Apple Plus. So if you already have it, hooray for you. If you don't have it like I do, just go ahead and do the free trial. This movie is worth like a good one or two watches. If you're a Blu-ray DVD collector, go ahead and purchase this one if you haven't seen it. You will not regret it. If you have a great sound system, I mean, I'm just all over this movie. This was exactly what I was hoping it would be, and it was a great cap and a great end to June. I know I'm missing Megan 2.0, but I actually kind of want to do a separate video for that because I like the movie, so recommend, but I do want to talk about it separately because there's some things I want to get into a little deeper, and I don't want this video to be 30 minutes. But that's going to cap it for June. My overall grade for the month, even though The Ritual wasn't that great and I didn't like 28 Years Later, I'm still going to give this month an A because while The Ritual wasn't great, it wasn't awful. Ballerina just blew me away, and F1 was exactly what I wanted it to be. So overall, I like the month of movies that I got to watch. What do you think about the films I discussed? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see y'all very soon for a part two to this summer saga. July coming next. Peace and chicken grease.